night, Saturday night. Don't forget to set your clocks back. Hey, what's up, Trent? Come on over to YouTube, man. EvilleCJ. Just hit me in the search bar, man. You'll see I'm live on there. Subscribe. You'll get the notifications. How you doing tonight, buddy? Buddy from Twitch. Just gonna be doing some general chats tonight about whatever. Doing good, cool. Yeah, I did some crime stuff last night. There's a couple videos I want to show real quick. And then, you know, it's whatever. Whatever happens tonight. Whatever we want to chat about. By the way, if there's anything that, oh, you gotta go to bed soon. That's cool, man. Well, thanks for hopping in. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Let's see what we got here. Let's hit refresh. See what's up. Did anybody win that Powerball tonight? I'm wondering. Wouldn't they know already? Maybe not. Alright. Now, there is some new details. I haven't even watched it yet. So I do want to check out these new details here. This Arkansas, Missouri case that I was checking out last night. So we'll see what they say. Is this music too loud?
Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Wilson. But she was 31 weeks pregnant when she disappeared in Benson County. Tonight, we are hearing from the McDonald County coroner, who says the Pineville, Missouri couple, now arrested, actually held a funeral for that baby that was cut out of bush, who was lured, kidnapped, and killed. Nice. Now, we do want to warn you that some of you may find these new details disturbing. And as we've reported, the U.S. attorney...
Before I get into this, I'm just checking this out, but yeah, man, I was gonna get on Warface today, but my fucking power was out from 9:30 this morning, some big outage here, from 9:30 this morning until fucking 4:30 in the damn afternoon. Fucking sucked. See, I had plans earlier today, but you know, with Warface and some gaming and shit, but that kind of got all fucked up, and then I was watching Brittany's live. What's up, allegedly, man? Good job tonight. How's that wine? Is that wine treating you good? But anyway, congrats, Trent. I gotta put some work on that game for sure. And hey, buddy, if you know how to add cross-platform people, let me know. Like him in his 70s. Hey, you don't know what kind of room it's over here. That's cool, buddy. I'm just going to be checking out a couple things. I don't even know what I'm going to be chatting about tonight, really. It's just kind of a hangout kind of thing, you know? It's just whatever. What the fuck ever, you know? Who cares? Let's just chat. My brain is so filled with this crime shit, though. This is crazy. Oh yeah, my bad. My bad. I'm zoning here. Let me get back to it.
Attorney believes Amber Waterman took Bush in efforts to keep her unborn baby as her own. The McDonald County coroner telling us today, the same day the couple moved the body of Bush, they held a funeral service for the child. 5 News reporter Rachel Williams met with the coroner today. She joins us to tell us the details and the timeline of this case.
I don't think you'll get at.
The McDonald County coroner says 33-year-old Ashley Bush's baby was cut out of her body Monday night, the same day she went missing in Benton County.
My whole adult life has been centered around death.
Coroner William Goodwin is the coroner for McDonald County in Missouri, about 30 miles from Benton County.
But never seen so much wickedness and evil. And that's the only way to describe it.
Oh, okay, man.
Goodwin was first called on Monday to a report of a stillborn baby at a Longview, Missouri convenience store.
She did have the placenta.
It's just heavily added. I know
her pants, and handed it over, and along with the baby, to the paramedics. She wanted to transport
what?
Stillborn baby at a Longview, Missouri convenience store.
She did have the placenta in her pants and handed it over, and along with the baby, to the paramedics. She wanted to transport, they were insistent that she...
He says on Monday, after kidnapping and allegedly killing the pregnant mother from Benton County, Amber Waterman pretended she was in labor, calling 911. Amber and her husband, Jamie Waterman, met EMTs at a local convenience store in McDonald County. EMTs were unable to save the baby's life. The baby was taken to a local funeral home, but as for Amber...
refused all medical treatment. She did not want paramedics to examine her.
Coroner Goodwin said the very next day, the couple came to a local funeral home, which Coroner Goodwin owns. The couple spoke to him about cremating the baby and scheduled a funeral, even having a name picked out.
The baby was perfect. Beautiful little girl.
The arrest record says on Wednesday, Amber admitted to her husband, Jamie, that she killed Bush. The couple then allegedly burned her dead body and moved it off the property. According to Coroner Goodwin, that's the same day they had a funeral for the baby.
6 or 8.
Okay, why didn't they mention that it was burned? Because they mentioned that yesterday. Huh. They mentioned a lot more than what they're saying here on the news. What's up, allegedly? What's up? Need me to rewind it? Yeah, they found the baby separate in a different location, and they said that this is 2 things they left out about tonight so far, is that she first told her husband that she did it, then she changed her story and said Lucy did it. That's number 1 that they didn't put in this. And number 2, that they didn't mention that she was burned. No, they said they found what happened was they said that Ashley, after the cops came by and asked her about her phone, and she said, I lost my phone, and asked her, where were you at today? And she's like, I've been home all day, or yesterday. I was home all day. And so then they left. Well, before the cops got there, she had wrapped up the body in a tarp. Okay? So then after her husband came home, that's when she told him, okay, I committed the murder. Then she changed her story and said, no, Lucy committed the murder. And so he helped her burn the body and then transport it to a different location. Now, maybe I heard it wrong. We can go back to that clip, but I thought that's what I heard. But StreamYard was fucking up last night, and it was cutting my shit out here and there, so there was some parts I didn't hear. But we can go back to that. That way we make sure. They found the baby next day burned? Okay. I don't know. This is also confusing right off the frickin' bat. Like, normally, you know, it's not this confusing. So maybe we should go back to that video yesterday. Let me finish this one real quick.
Yeah. And Amber's mother was with her, and she was completely in the dark. She didn't know. She kept asking why, you know, there was going to be an autopsy and things like that. She couldn't understand why.
Goodwin says they moved Ashley's body, cleaned themselves up, and showed up at the funeral home that same afternoon for the service.
I was first notified Wednesday morning by the Benton County coroner, Daniel Oxford, that there might be something to this, some things pertaining to this child, and was wanting to take custody of the infant to do an autopsy.
It's after the funeral when Coroner Goodwin started to realize this may not be what it seems. After the service, the Benton County coroner was there to meet with the couple. Coroner Goodwin told them he was there to take custody of the baby in order to do an autopsy.
So nothing seemed out of the ordinary. She wanted to know why they were doing an autopsy.
For Goodwin, he says her reaction was a red flag.
But then the tears kind of dried up, and her next question was, will there be DNA testing? And Daniel and I both looked at one another, and we knew that we had her at this point, that there was something definitely wrong.
The McDonald County coroner says Ashley's body will be sent for an autopsy in Springfield, Missouri on Monday morning. Rachel Williams.
All right, I want to listen to this part one more time. Wow.
Be what it seems. After the service, the Benton County coroner was there to meet with the couple. Coroner Goodwin told them he was there to take custody of the baby in order to do an autopsy.
Yeah, my StreamYard,
nothing seemed
StreamYard was messing up
out of the ordinary.
Audio kept getting kicked.
She wanted to know why they were doing an autopsy.
For Goodwin, he says her reaction was a red flag.
Like the medication part from last night when I was talking, I didn't hear anything about her not having depression. That StreamYard booted me out at that point. So there's certain parts that I should go back and listen to that video again. That's just crazy. I know, man. It's like why didn't she just say, hey, can I get away with murder? Like, what the fuck?
But then the tears kind of dried up.
We'll go back to
and
that other video.
Her next question was, will there be DNA testing? And Daniel and I both looked at one another, and we knew that we had her at this point, that there was.
Wow, that is just, well, I mean, what can you say? I don't know. Let's see, where's that video at here? Where did I put that? I believe, was it the second video? I think. Let me go back to it. We'll see. We'll check it out. Sorry, I don't remember which one. I think it's this one.
Where you live. 5
Yeah,
starts
I know,
with
man. I
breaking news.
rewatched it last night, and
over my career, this is one of the most horrific.
And I was like, shit, man, I need to say something on my next stream about not hearing the depression meds, because I was like wow, how is she gonna hurt herself if she's not taking her seizure medication? Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that's where StreamYard fucked up. It was doing it to me all night last night, but so far, 21 minutes in, we're good. I think it was just something with StreamYard last night. Alright, let's see if this is...
Cases that I have been personally involved with.
Breaking news tonight, 2 suspects arrested by the FBI in connection with the kidnapping of a pregnant woman.
33-year-old Ashley Bush was found dead in Missouri. She was 31 weeks pregnant when she was kidnapped on Monday.
Tonight, the sheriff confirms that Bush and her baby were both found dead in 2 separate locations in McDonald County. The baby found yesterday, Ashley's body found today. We do not know yet where they died.
We have team coverage from across the area helping to bring you the latest developments on this top story.
Okay,
we begin with 5 News reporter Catherine Gilker, who was at today's news conference at the Benton County Sheriff's Office. Catherine?
The Benton County Sheriff says Ashley on Monday. They say Lucy was a fake character. Bush's fiance says she was last seen around 3 o'clock Monday afternoon, riding in the passenger seat of a truck driven by Lucy. She was supposed to be dropping Ashley off at the Handy stop in Maysville after a job interview in Bentonville. Instead, the truck kept driving north on Highway 43 and her fiance couldn't catch up with it. Today, we learned Ashley died from an apparent gunshot wound. Her baby was 31 weeks old, found dead in a different location. Yesterday, the sheriff's office told us they had extended their search into southern Missouri, where the bodies were found. The sheriff's office says this is an ongoing case, so they can't release many more details right now.
Okay, so
Benton County prosecutor Nathan Smith says in Arkansas, if you kill a pregnant woman, you would be charged with 2 counts of murder. He says a motive will have to play out with the facts.
This is just a reminder that there is evil in the world. People do evil things, and that someone would prey upon a pregnant woman, at her most vulnerable state is unimaginable. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
Both Ashley and her baby's body will be sent to the crime lab for autopsy. I'm live in Bentonville, covering news where you live. Catherine Gilker, 5 News.
All right, Catherine, thanks. The suspects are in the...
Breaking now, we have new details into what investigators believe happened when pregnant Ashley Bush was taken from Benton County. As we have reported, she and her baby were both found dead, but in different locations in Missouri. We want to warn you, some of these details, they may be hard to hear. 5 News reporter Catherine Gilker has been on top of this story since the beginning. She's in the newsroom with more on what we're learning.
According to the probable cause affidavit we received this morning, Amber Waterman admitted details of the kidnapping and murder to her husband. Attorneys believe Amber Waterman wanted to keep the baby for her own. Amber Waterman has officially been charged with kidnapping resulting in death, and her husband Jamie Waterman with accessory after the fact to kidnapping resulting in death. Prosecutors say these actions resulted in Bush's death. Let's break down what the report shows. After detectives learned about the possible abduction on Monday, they got details from the victim's fiance about the possible work-from-home job interview with a woman named Lucy. Investigators found a Facebook account for Lucy, and on that account, a public post about baby items available for moms in need. Detectives believe this is how the two first connected. Ashley's fiance found her phone in a ditch and turned it over to detectives. They then were able to find the information on Lucy, tying that page to Amber Waterman. Using an emergency request to Facebook and T-Mobile, they were able to identify an IP address for Amber's location. Then using Google Maps data, they confirmed Ashley did travel to Maysville and her home in Pineville, Missouri on Monday, which was the day of the abduction. The next day on Tuesday, detectives went...
So what? They were at the convenience store. She was trying to just show that, yeah, we had the baby. And then they were like, no. And then she took off? This is so confusing.
To the home of the Watermans, and they allowed them to search their property. Their detectives noticed a truck matching the description of the one that Amber was last seen in. While at the home. Waterman told detectives she never left the house Monday until she allegedly went into labor, calling 911 and meeting an ambulance at a convenience store near their home. When at home, they asked to see her phone, and she stated she lost it. They asked if she knew Bush, and she said no, but her husband's story is different. In a separate interview with her husband, Jamie, he says he came home for lunch and Ashley was not home and the truck was gone. He says he didn't hear from his wife until later that afternoon, saying she was having a miscarriage. He says he then left work and went with them to the emergency care. Now, yesterday, a search warrant was served at the Waterman's home. At the same time of the search warrant, detectives also interviewed the husband, Jamie, at his work. He said on Monday he found blood inside their truck and he assumed it came from his wife during her miscarriage. Jamie told detectives his wife cleaned the blood from the truck and burned the rags afterwards. He told them once detectives left his home on Tuesday, his wife told him she had killed Ashley and then changed her story, saying Lucy killed her. But not long later, she led her husband to Bush's body laying next to the house, rolled in a tarp. They then moved her body to a burn pile, poured on gasoline, and burned her, killed her.
Okay.
But not long later, she led her husband to Bush's body laying next to the house, rolled in a tarp. They then moved her body to a burn pile, poured on gasoline, and burned her. Then the couple transported her body in Jamie's truck to an area off the property. Detectives asked Jamie if he could show them where the body was disposed, and he took them to an area not far from their home. What the report did not tell us is when and how Ashley gave birth to the infant before she was killed. The range of punishment for Amber Waterman, if found guilty, is a death penalty or life in prison.
So what? They burned the baby but just shot the mom?
Well, see, that doesn't make sense because the cop was just saying in the first one you played, well, they brought the baby in and we asked them if we could do an autopsy. Bro, it's a burned baby. What the? Are you that bad of a cop to not realize, oh, there's something
I don't get
here?
it. It's so fucking confusing, man.
Right.
So
and not only that, I mean, when you think about how the interview you had just played first, and then we went back to this one, remember? Because I watched your stream. The first thing was, I noticed that you did miss the part where because he was confusing. The boyfriend or husband, whatever he is, he's speaking out of time frame. Like he's like, she's on medication for seizures, but she had depression from the baby before last, which is true. There's postpartum, but you know, he threw it in there like it was non-essential, and he's like, but the self-harm because of the medication, so everybody you know heard, like, put shit out there, you know, like, hey, and this might have happened. You heard her, she said it multiple times. She's like, they found the bodies, and the police even say it in the interview, we found the bodies separately. He corrected the reporter in the presser and said, no, what I said was we found her body, then we found the baby elsewhere, not in the same spot. Right, so they're not making sense with their police work. And then who got burned? I'm still confused. I'm assuming the mom, but it was the baby. So when the supposedly her husband, who has nothing to do with it and doesn't know anything about it, so I looked it up while I was watching your stream because I was like, oh, I want information. So a baby full term is 39 to 40 weeks. Anything before 37 weeks, she was 36 or 32, but the bulge was about, it looked like it should be 34 weeks. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Which is why they're saying that it was a premature baby. So anything earlier than, and this is what I found online, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. Anything 28 months and before that would need an incubator. So they just prematurely cut the baby out of her, and the baby, they just didn't know, like, key things a doctor would know, which is why one person doing it would be kind of awkward. If like, I have doctor friends and they explain how they cut people open for a C-section. There is a very thick membrane wall to protect the baby, so she would have had to cut extremely precise and hard, like with a scalpel that's sharp enough to do that, to open up mom to get the baby. I know that sounds really horrible to say, but I have to think about it like a horror movie, not like real life. But the way that the cops are saying it and that the newspapers are saying it, the news, I shouldn't say newspaper, they're like, they found the body of the mother and then the baby second. Now they're saying that they had the baby and then they asked where the mother was, and the husband was like, I had nothing to do with it, but she's at this location.
Right.
How do you know where she was? Because my wife told me the exact location. She gave me coordinates, and I punched it in a GPS, went out, checked it, found the body, knew, yes, she's dead, came back.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I think they both said, look, if one of us goes down, we're just going to let the person burn. Either one of us, even if it's me.
Yep. And create some plausible deniability somehow for the other one that doesn't get caught. And
I mean, I hate to say it,
crazy.
But dude, you're gonna go to jail, man. You tried to burn a baby. Come on, nobody's gonna let you off on that.
Oh, hell no. And then you're gonna get that prison justice too. Messing with children.
And if, let's say he doesn't go to jail, let's say the husband talks good talk and he's like, you know what, he has a great lawyer, or the lawyer gets everything dismissed. Bro, people know who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be somebody out there looking for vengeance.
Yep. And there's dirt. Everybody's got it, you know?
Yeah, I dropped out of the other chat, the other panel, because I was like, I'm not missing CJ's fucking panel. Sorry.
Oh, no, man. It's cool if I'm even just chilling by myself, man. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah,
hey, man, that's way bigger than my shit. You know?
Oh, dude, no. Oh my god.
It was entertaining, man. It was entertaining. I kept hearing that shit go off.
There's only so much you can talk about, and I had already discussed everything that I know.
Yeah. I already heard as much as I could too, man. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something. It was cool, though.
This case.
I got a new video for you to check out too, man.
Ooh.
About Delphi. Oh yeah, it just came out maybe an hour ago.
Cool. Who's it by?
It's by the news up there.
Oh, cool.
Channel 8, I think, is what it is. I'm gonna play this one quick. Wait, is that one that I? Hold on a second.
Dude, play it on your channel. Add it to your title. Be like, hey, we're gonna discuss the most recent Delphi release too.
It's just whatever. I'm gonna check out this one video. I don't know if
Amber Waterman has been charged with kidnapping resulting in death. Her husband, Jamie Waterman, charged with accessory after the fact to kidnapping resulting in death. According to a probable cause affidavit released Friday, Amber admitted to her husband she kidnapped and murdered Ashley Bush. That document helps establish a timeline of the investigation.
I'm sorry,
Monday,
dude.
Bush's fiance, Josh
He's an accessory after the fact. I don't believe
her
that.
for the final time.
Right.
In the passenger seat of an older model truck.
So I'm not trying to be a real jerk off here, but I actually know a girl who almost identically looks like her. She has multiple children, blah blah blah, and the guys that she chooses, no matter what color they are pretty much identical to this guy. And you could just tell I'm not going down because you want a baby that bad. And they're trying to use that lame ass excuse that's been used in 2 other cases, and everybody knows it's not real. She lied and pretended she was pregnant. Dude.
Oh yeah, dude, did you see the ultrasound pictures?
Bro,
she was like making posts on Facebook. Oh, look at my baby's ultrasound. Like it was
guy that believes that.
The afternoon of the abduction.
Bro, number one,
on Tuesday, investigators first made contact
if a
with
girl
Waterman.
says to you, you got me pregnant, here's the ultrasound pictures, say, wait, why didn't I come? Why didn't you bring me?
And they noticed what appeared to be blood.
Well, I don't know whose ultrasounds these are unless I'm there watching you get the ultrasound.
I don't know. You know, who knows how long they've been together. I could see being a husband and my wife saying, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm not going to think that she's going to lie to me about it.
You wouldn't want to go for the ultrasound, though? That's your baby.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if maybe she stays at home and he has to make all the money and he can't take the time off during the day to go do it, because then they would suffer. It's a tough time right now, and so I could understand. I like me as a dad, yes, but I could understand people. I mean, look at the roof, man. I could understand people in a situation where they just can't afford to miss an hour and a half from work because it could totally start a domino effect financially and put them in situations.
True, but let's look at it this way.
What I mean?
He can miss an hour and a half to burn a baby's corpse. So why couldn't he?
Well, he has no choice at that point. I mean, he may have came home to some shit and was like, "Oh fuck."
But as a human being, not just as a father, not as a mother, think about this as a human being. Your wife went into labor, lost the baby, right? So why are you wrapping it in a tarp and burning it in the yard? That makes no sense.
That's why I think he's in on it.
Exactly.
Because I think if he wasn't, like what I was just saying could be, because I don't want to say this is what he did, but with what could be, that's where he's not involved. And then he wouldn't be helping the police, and he wouldn't go right there and say, hey, this is where it's at, and this and that. He would be evasive like she was. I don't know where my phone's at. I was here all day. But with him, like, automatically helping, that dude...
You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Nobody would. That just makes no sense. Why are we burning our baby? Because it was miscarried. Right. Oh.
Right.
So why don't we bury it? Because we can't. Why? Because I don't want to bury my baby. That makes no sense. You want me to go burn it, but you don't want to bury it?
Right.
And these criminals are that stupid. They don't even research
They
anymore.
are, man. No.
Research.
They watch too many crime shows on TV, and that's what... Hey, I'm good, though, because then it's a lot easier to catch these idiots.
Do you want to know what every crime show says? You cannot burn a human body. It takes a tremendous amount of heat. There's no way you're going to watch a crime show and go, oh, I could wrap it in a tarp and burn it.
Right. Well, they took it somewhere, though. I thought they reported that they then transported the body to a different location.
Well, that's what they said. They brought it to the morgue, and they said, oh, we want to do an autopsy. Well, they're not going to... They didn't let them leave to burn the body after that. They were going to keep the baby. So they had to have burned it before going there. So what in your right mind thinks it's okay to burn your baby that died? I mean, that makes no sense.
Yeah. They're not that smart. That's pretty damn clear.
Amber Waterman.
I mean, look at that roof.
She never left her house.
I can see,
until she
but
allegedly
no,
went
I
into
think the
labor,
dude was in there.
according to court documents. That's when she says she called her husband and 911. They made an ambulance at a convenience store near their home. Detective asked for Waterman's phone, and she told them she lost it. She also denied knowing Ashley Bush. Jamie Waterman shared a different story with investigators. According to the arrest report, Waterman told them he came home at lunch to find Amber gone with the truck. He said he didn't hear from her until later in the afternoon when she called to say she thought she was having a miscarriage, and they went to meet the ambulance.
I mean, that's stupid right there. Why wouldn't I mean, it's 2022. You don't think the cops are going to know, like, you registered a Facebook account on this? Like, come on. Why didn't you just say, oh, yeah, I knew her, and I took her to an interview, and then I dropped her off?
Right.
She wanted to go here first. She wanted to go to this gas station or this convenience store to pick up some supplies, and she was just going to call her husband and tell her to meet him there instead.
What it's telling me is she had a device that wasn't registered under her name, and that's why she lost her phone. Because,
like one of those track phones or something.
Yeah, everybody calls them burner phones when all they are prepaid phones that you can use a Hotmail account that you don't even have to have any information but your fake name, an email address that you want, and boom.
Yeah. But you got GPS, though. It had to have some kind of GPS.
If they have the phone, because they need to know, the information from the phone. So if she doesn't have it, they can't track her movements. And this frees up the husband with his story. I came home and she wasn't here. That just doesn't make sense. You have a pregnant wife, and she's randomly out there. You don't know where she is, and she hasn't messaged you or called you.
And you left work early. Because
why'd you leave work early, buddy? Was it to help cut a baby out of somebody? Then you went home, took a shower.
It's so.
This looks to me like they came up with multiple stories, and then she told the one story that she wanted, and he told the story he wanted, which is why they're not adding up.
Yeah, because they couldn't agree on what one was going to be more believable, because none of them are.
Right.
Believe after they left Waterman's house Tuesday, Amber started filling Jamie in on the alleged details. She reportedly told him she killed Bush, then changing her story to say that Lucy killed her. Jamie told investigators his wife then led him to Bush's body that was lying next to their house rolled in a tarp. They then burned her body and took it to a different location. A search warrant was served at the Waterman's house Thursday. Detectives interviewed Jamie at work. He told them he found blood in the truck on Monday, assuming it was from Amber's reported miscarriage. When he confronted his wife, she denied knowing anything, then cleaned the blood and burned the rags, prosecutors say. Jamie ultimately took investigators to Ashley Bush's body, not far from their house.
Cooperating like a motherfucker. At least he is, you know.
Right, but you see, the thing is, why would you said it in your live stream, and I agreed with you 100%. If you thought the blood was from your wife's miscarriage, you wouldn't burn the rags. You would just throw them out, or you would put them in a bag and be like, "I'm going to,"
or keep them. Yeah, right, or even keep them as mementos. You know, oh my God, our first baby. This was a, this was a crazy pregnancy. This is out of the ordinary. Look what happened. We saved these. Yeah.
But his first thought was, "Hey, let's burn it.
Burn them.
Let's just start a fire and burn the damn thing because it'll be a going away present." It makes no sense. His story is so flawed. It's ridiculous.
And she's so opposite of him. Like, yeah, Lucy killed her. Yeah, this is where she's at. Yeah, we know who she is. Amber's like, what? Who's that?
Yeah, right.
All right. This is gonna blow your mind, dude.
So her husband knows who Lucy is, obviously, right? Because he's like, she told me she did it, and then she said Lucy did it. Well, buddy, have you met Lucy?
Thank God.
Yeah. Okay, so what if Lucy looked like? Just like my wife. It's amazing. My wife messaged me and said, Lucy's at the house. And I came in and said, hi, my name's Lucy, and your wife's pregnant. And then, I'm going to murder somebody, and you're not going to know because you're at work, even though you left early. I mean, dude, your whole story is blowing up in your face. I left work early, so you didn't know. Nope, I came straight home. Me and Lucy were having phone sex. Oh, okay.
Dude, yeah, she was over for dinner last night.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's probably her other personality, man.
Listen, Your Honor, I can't leave work to get a damn ultrasound. But when your wife, is not home and you get to come home and then she says she's having a miscarriage, that's when you call out of work. But you called out before the miscarriage because I knew it was going to miscarry.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
At least he's being honest. At least he's being honest about the main details of the case, though, because that's really gonna help everything unravel. Because she just looks like the type where she's gonna crack.
The point that you made about the husband really blew my mind because I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice until you brought it up. You're like, what? He's such a good father. And he's not even looking back to see what his kid's getting into.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit, you're right. He's sitting here bragging that she's... and then the best part was when he goes, she won't leave my side. And then the kid runs off and he's like, oh, okay, never mind. She left my side.
And you know what's crazy? I had somebody tell me, I don't think it's odd that he didn't look back. I'm like, okay, whatever.
My cat walks in the kitchen. I get up and go, hey, what are you doing out here? And she's like, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. I don't know why you're out here. There's nothing out here.
I'm sorry.
And that's a cat.
I would be like, I would.
Dude,
I would.
My ex had a 2-year-old, and when he would run through the apartment, because I live on a whole second floor, I had pretty much a huge apartment that's almost the size of a house. He would walk into another room, and I'd be like, hey, Logan, what are you up to? Like, I would go and look because even though it's child safe, nothing's child safe. There could be something on the floor that fell out of my pocket, and he's going to put it in his mouth, swallow it, and choke to death.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in here playing NBA 2K. That's not happening on my watch.
At that age, you have to, you know, just
right.
like
And he's got a little toddler.
You got to be watching. You got to be watching.
Dude, it blew my mind because he starts talking over the cars driving by that are really loud, and his kid's behind him doing something that he doesn't know. What if your kid ran out in the street behind you?
As soon as he let her go, she walked over in the corner and bent over and was picking up who knows what.
Picking up stuff like cigarette butts or
I'm just like, what?
Caps.
Who knows? Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's choking.
Right. The cars that were going by that he was too busy talking over, she could have walked out on the street behind him and done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Well, now what are you going to say? Because you weren't paying attention to your kid. You were right, man. I was like sitting there going, this guy is really shady. Like super shady.
Yeah.
What it sounded like he was trying to tell his narrative. Yeah, what it sounded like to me was he was trying to set his narrative for the news so everybody in the world knew he was not guilty and he didn't care if his kid got hit by a car.
I'm not a suspect. Yeah, past tense words,
dude.
You know, putting possibilities out there that could have happened, and it involves the shit that really did fucking happen. It's like, what?
Bro, no innocent person in the world history said, I'm not a suspect. I don't care what Facebooks are saying. Bro.
I know. I was like, as soon as, and right in the beginning, you know, and I'm just like, that just set it off right there. I'm just like, what?
You made yourself a suspect, bro, by opening your goddamn mouth. Simple. The cops that weren't even looking at you are like, wait a minute, why is this guy saying I'm not a suspect? We never told him.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of like not the whole interview, but the very beginning of it just brought me back to Chris Watts' interview on the porch for a second.
Dude, he laughed during the interview.
I was
he's
like, what?
Everybody on Facebook trying to say I'm guilty? What? Did you just literally laugh more than Chris Watts? Bro.
I was just like, this dude is as stupid as Watts.
Dude, he's worse. He literally looked down and started laughing. Like, he let out a real laugh and then looked back at the camera like, you guys are dumb. You don't know I did this. I made a deal for money. Bro, that guy just looked horrible. I'm so sad I missed that live stream, truthfully.
20 men have been arrested.
All right, check this out, bro. Now, I'm not saying this is Delphi, but I have a weird feeling that this is something...
Oh, is this what you were talking about?
Yeah.
All right,
you can read the caption already at the bottom. I just have a feeling.
I can't see the caption. Can you tell me what it reads?
It says 20 men arrested following child sex sting operation. And guess where?
Oh,
as part of a child sex sting operation led by the Johnson County Sheriff's Office targeting sexual predators.
Tuesday's Camilla Fernandez has more on how these men sought out these children. Camilla.
Line posing as 14-year-olds, the predators would then chat with the fake profiles about sexual acts and fantasies.
These messages will turn your stomach of what they say, what their preference is to do with a 14-year-old. So it's sickening.
The child sexting operation, led by the Johnson County Sheriff's Office and the Franklin Police Department, took place from Tuesday through Thursday. According to Sheriff Dwayne Burgess, a lot of these predators were living in Indiana. Some of them traveled as far as Alabama and Washington to meet with minors. He says investigators would find these men with alcohol, drugs, and even guns at their meeting location.
You don't know who you're taking off the street, what they were capable of doing, or what they've maybe done in the past, but you just want to make sure you're protecting the children, and this is one way that I see that we can do that.
Sheriff Burgess wouldn't say what sites these predators use to entice children, but says the number of online apps is alarming.
They will gain their trust, and they will have your child meet with them, and we pray that nothing happens to a child, but kids come up missing, and the internet is part of this problem.
I've got 3 kids of my own, and the world is a dangerous place enough without folks like that roaming around. So I think it's a fantastic thing. Awesome job by those officers.
Sheriff Burgess encourages parents to be aware of what their kids do online.
I couldn't imagine what it's like for a parent that really guards their child's phone and watches to see whether they're chatting with someone or what.
I want to pause it real quick and tell parents you need to pay attention to your kids' phones. I just want to say that real quick.
Well, I'm glad you paused it because I did see this. I missed that it was Indiana. Like, I didn't even hear that when I was little. Probably because I was on the piano and I was trying to do both things at once. But dude, wow.
Yes. Right by Indy.
How far is Johnson County?
It's right. I mean, it's a suburb of Indianapolis, a southeastern suburb of Indianapolis, which is maybe, I'm thinking an hour and a half to Delphi.
Dude, remember what we talked about? And I said they should do a 40-mile radius?
Yeah, that's why I was like, ooh,
wow.
This is going to be some interesting shit for you, man. I thought about you when I seen it. I was like, ooh. I need to let him know.
This is the 4th time this type of operation has occurred in Johnson County over the past 2.5 years. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office says they plan to have more of these operations in the future. Camila Fernandez, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
20 men have been arrested as part of a child sex sting operation led by...
There we go.
Bro,
now there's new... Yeah, I just got a hunch something's gonna happen with that. And then there's this little bit of information too.
All right, turning now to new details tonight in the high-profile murders of 2 teenage girls, Abby Williams and Libby German. The 2 best friends were killed in 2017 as they were walking on a trail in Delphi, Indiana. And now Richard Allen, the man charged earlier this week for their murders, will be transferred from a county jail to the Indiana Department of Corrections for his own safety. On Thursday, a Carroll County judge requested that Allen be handed over, saying the suspect is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or even death. And that same day, the judge recused himself from the case. Right now, News Nation is piecing together information about another man once considered a person of interest in this case. His name, Ronald Logan.
Hold on.
Logan owned the property where Libby and Abby's...
Ron Logan has become a person of interest again.
Bodies were found. In an FBI search warrant obtained by News Nation, a special agent stated there is probable cause to believe that Logan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that could be found on his property. Logan, however, was never charged, and he died in 2020. Joining us now to break down the latest information and provide some context here is former FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer, investigative producer and author Chris Todd, and private investigator Jason Jensen. Thank you so much all for being here. And Jennifer, I do want to start with you. Former FBI agent Nicole Robertson swore under oath that she believes evidence of a homicide was located at the residence of Ronald Logan. And the girls were found on his property. Why was he never arrested?
He wasn't arrested basically because the individuals who were in charge of the investigation felt he was too old to have committed a crime like this. And so much of the information and the probable cause developed was sort of brushed aside. Also, keep in mind that affidavit was not served until a month after the crime was committed. This was huge because it allowed for Mr. Logan, if he did commit this crime, to remove, dispose of, clean evidence that could have otherwise linked him to the crime. So those 2 factors resulted in him not being charged.
Jennifer, we'll stick with you for a moment. The FBI discovered that Ronald Logan lied.
So
yeah, go ahead, buddy.
You remember when they said he lied about him, not going somewhere that day, about going just to the fish place?
Because he didn't want to get caught driving, but not driving. Yep.
So the one thing I do want to say is it's really easy to call somebody a criminal when they're dead. So with that being said, because of his
They got
lie,
evidence, though.
They said they have evidence, but they haven't brought it forward. I mean, when you have evidence, you arrest people. Like, look at Richard Allen. They have evidence now, so they arrested him. So they didn't wait. And this guy, it's his property. And everybody was pointing at him saying, hey, he definitely sounds like him. He
There was
like
a lot of finger pointing. Yeah.
And yeah, there was a ton of it. So for them, and
Tons of
maybe
videos,
he was part of the ring. And that, remember when we were talking about it, and I said, look, I believe that Richard Matthew Allen inserted himself in so he could get information and then pulled out. And in Crime Talk, he said that the FBI and the police openly stated 2 devices messaged Libby that day. 2 devices. So one they know is Keegan because it's his main account. The second one had to have been Richard Allen, which is why when they found out, hey, Richard Allen has access to this. Oh, now we have our suspect. I don't think the property owner had much to do with it, but I think he was part of the ring that Keegan Kline was a part of. You see what I'm saying? I still think Richard Allen acted alone. I think they already have missing persons that they're now digging up from all over the area, 40 to 60 miles out from Delphi, which includes Mexico and that other place, Green, whatever. So they're finding all of these, past cases, and they're like, wait a minute, this is unsolved. I think Richard Allen was a lone wolf. He did this stuff himself. He inserted himself in for more targets because, hey, the best way to get targets, get these guilty, dirty people. You insert yourself in, just get, hey, Keegan, I want to look at some of those pictures and videos. You log in, look up and say, oh, this girl and her friend are heading to the bridge. I'm 5 minutes away. Log out, and that's all you have to do. You don't even have to message them. You just have to open up and look to see what they're posting. I believe that they're saying that the property owner might be a part of it because he was part of the ring of CP. You know, the video that you just played before this one? I think he was part of that ring. And they're like, so he's guilty too.
I think he was part of it. And yours makes sense too. I still feel he had help. And I still feel that he was part of the ring.
He could have.
And I have a feeling that it wasn't about killing necessarily. It was more about the CP. And it got to a level over time. It got to the point where I still think he did something before and after the same way. But I have a feeling that he was part of this ring, and the urges got so bad that it eventually got to like killing people. But there's so much left open in this. I don't know what kind of evidence.
Look at Keegan Kline. He's diming motherfuckers out, right? And I guarantee you when they start, I guarantee you these 20 men are going to start diming people out. Richard Allen didn't dime anybody out, and he's been quiet. He is part of the community. Notice Keegan Kline, Logan, all of them, they're nobodies in the community. They don't go out. They don't celebrate. They don't talk to people. Richard Allen was a lone wolf. He went to the bars. He sat in front of the pictures. He talked to people, listened to them. He asked questions, but then kept quiet while people were talking. That's a different breed of person. That's nothing like all the other people who are under the radar. They have their own property and they hide out and they don't talk to people. Or they live with their parents and they don't talk to people. All those people are part of the ring. Richard Allen, he doesn't seem like a part of a group. He's a lone wolfer. 5 years not being discovered, there's a reason for that. Not because he's in the community and they least suspected him.
Well, no, he wasn't very social.
He was a very rare breed. He's that guy who is like, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Insert myself. These guys will be my cover because they arrested Keegan, right? They jumped right on him right away. When they found the girls, they already had Keegan in their sights for this ring. They bring him in. They hold him all that time. They question him. He gives them devices and everything. He gets arrested. Did the father die, or is he still alive? I think he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still. Keegan's dad is still alive. Yeah,
and he's not arrested, right? Even though he's had access. Remember, right away, Keegan said my dad had access.
Yet.
Right, but right away, Keegan said my father has access to all those phones and devices.
Yeah,
dimed out his dad instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But it took 5 years. Well, let's say less, 3 to 4 years, for him to say, well, if you cut me a deal, I could tell you names that I remember that have access to it. And suddenly we have Richard Allen, this guy who nobody would have ever in a billion years suspected. People talked to him. Even her parents went up and had conversations. That's a different breed. He's not part of that group. None of those groupies talked to the parents or talked to the other families. They weren't part of the system, the social, group. They kept to themselves. That's one of the things that police look for. That's why when they got Keegan and they got, they were like, okay, let's talk. Then when they said, oh, guess what, Logan? Your story doesn't check out. He's like, yeah, well, I don't know how you found out. Because you got dimed out, bitch. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So I lied, but I wasn't doing dirty stuff. Those guys are different. Richard Allen, he stood there and let them search his home. Like, he stood there. Like, the police were there, searched his home. The wife left. She came back and the police were gone. He actually stood there while they searched. Why didn't he run? Because he said, I'm a different breed. I had nothing to do with it.
It's the same reason why he ain't helping out. Because I think that once the cops were there and he knew that Keegan was arrested, he knew, just like why the judge backed out. Because he already probably fucking knew what the judge was about to find out, and that's why she backed out. And I feel like that's why he's not talking or helping or nothing, not because he wasn't part of a ring, but because he knows what the fuck. That's why they transferred him. He's already getting death threats. So
well, dude, that's the worst thing, though.
I'm gonna die. My family's gonna die.
But that's the worst thing.
And then I think with him he wasn't a social guy, but he had to play it off in order to get away with the shit that he was doing. Because when he would go out to eat with his wife was the one ordering the food. That's how non-social this guy was. But he was social as hell with the bartender, trying to find out information.
Right.
I just think
he's going to DOC, bro. That's Department of Corrections. You know who's in there, right? All of the people that work for the bigwigs, the people that if you're ordered to, you will sever that person's lifeline. Like, you will take him out.
He knows what's going to happen.
I truthfully don't think anything will happen to him while he's in there. I believe wholeheartedly he's alone. Because if his bosses, let's say he was part of the ring, the moment he was brought in, he would have already had a lawyer, like a really good lawyer. And that lawyer would have came from nowhere. It would have been like the wife hired him, and he would get out. But for him,
what has she been up to? I don't even know.
Oh, she went into hiding, bro, which I 100% agree with. I would.
I know she got rid of her Facebook.
Yeah, I
she ain't living at that house. Staying somewhere else. Yeah.
I immediately went to her Facebook. I was like, bing, 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 bing. Thank you. But I didn't take everything because I don't know if she was involved. And I was talking about this in another live. Somebody brought up, he acted alone. No, he acted with somebody. And I said, look, a lot of women are getting involved in this stuff too. And then they're like, what? No, they're not. And I'm like, there was this incident with a coyote group. And they're like, first off, you're talking about coyotes. And I'm like, dude, do you not even hear what I'm saying? It's not, what you're saying is because they're Spanish.
Oh yeah, I watched that. Yeah, because the dude was getting all personal and shit. And I'm just sitting back like, dude, what do you like? Yeah, the guy in the chat, whoever it was, right?
What he's saying is, listen, bro, they're not
settle
Spanish.
Down, bro.
Right. Basically, what he said to me was, they're not Spanish, so you're wrong. And I'm like, bro. And he's like, first off, you're talking about coyotes. Dude, there are American coyotes too. There are white people, white women. There are women who help men capture. Have you ever heard the story of the woman in the box?
Yeah.
She's hitchhiking and a car with a family pulls up and she gets in because she's like, this is the safest thing I could ever think of. A family is helping me out. And then from behind, the husband gets out to check something, gets in behind her and puts a box over her head. And then the wife and him keep her captive all that time. And after like a year, the wife is like, I'm going to test him to see if he'll do it. And she's like, if you want to go have sex with that girl, go have sex with her. And he did. And she's like, that's it. That's the last straw. Dude, women are involved too. So I was bringing it up because I didn't want to say, hey, what if Kathy's involved? But he kept trying to shoot down. He didn't say, go down with my wife. Bro, they're giving us 0.4 seconds of a conversation. And you're going to, and the video recording is so much longer. And you're going to say, because you only heard those few words, that the wife wasn't involved or nobody else was involved. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to stop. I don't want to argue with him. I'm going to drop it.
Right? It seemed like he was wanting to argue right off the bat or something. Who knows, man? I was just, I feel you, because I was watching it and I was just like, why is like, let the dude talk. Like,
it's because everybody wants to be right.
Saying, you know? Yeah.
Everybody wants to be right.
Like,
for me,
personal right off the bat. I'm like, damn.
Right. And I even said, I'm giving a broad range of what could be transpiring because I already have my supposition. And I had already done a live where I said, I believe he acted alone. I believe he inserted himself into this ring, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, you're talking about coyotes. This has nothing to do with Mexico. And I'm like, dude, you're sounding very racist right now. But okay.
I know, man. I was like, damn. Well, you mentioned this crime talk. Well, here's Johnson County, right down here. It's right, I guess it's more south than southeast, but it's kind of right there. Let me zoom in on it.
So
right
it is.
there.
It's really
right
close.
It's basically a suburb of Indy, you know, honestly, because I mean, shit, you got all these connecting cities right here, so you know, you're really not.
Well, I think you brought it up. You brought it up before I agreed with you when you said, I think it's a medium-sized ring. Well, 20 men, that's a medium-sized ring, bro. You were right.
Let's see here. Actually, you know what? Let's not go to Delphi. Let's go here instead. Hour and 50 minutes, I guess. Yep, straight up. Basically.
So what? That's like 60 miles away?
It's an hour and 50 minutes or 214.
Oh, so it's about
basically you're having to go through Indy. So who says that somebody from North Indy wasn't,
where's
or
Mexico?
Kokomo? Let's see where we'll put in Mexico here. I'm thinking Peru because I think Keegan Kline was one of the main dudes in, for that region up there, and he was connected. I don't think that people in Delphi or that area were connected. I think he was the go-through for the people that were in Indy. But that's true. My instinct. Mexico.
At least he knew them.
Yeah, like he got his supply. It's kind of like a bigger dealer. You go get your supply and then you go supply it to the people that, because you got to make your money too. And I know you said that these clothes could be counterfeit and shit, but man, every time I see this dude in pictures, dude, he's wearing some nice fucking jerseys, and I used to have a lot of them, and I'm telling you, that shit ain't cheap. It ain't
no,
cheap.
It's not. Believe me,
Mexico is basically the same distance. It's right next to Peru, pretty much.
So ultimately, what we're looking at is, number one, that's where Richard Allen is from, and that's where he grew up, and that's where he got married.
Yep.
Then we have Peru, which is where Keegan travels to, and then we have that ring, which is pretty much right next to it.
Yeah.
And guess what they all have in common? Delphi.
And it's that close to Wabash. Yeah. Wabash is a small city up there, but it's a big city in a way. They got that big city feel because, you know, they were supposedly I think they're known for being the first city with electricity, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, they were the first city for something freaking important way back in the day, and I think they were the first. I think somewhere in Ohio was the first place that had the first light bulb.
See, I did a search for missing people in Indiana, and you know what really sucks about that? They don't just show Indiana. They show like every state. And I'm like, dude, I'm looking at it. The site literally says it's for all missing persons in Indiana. And I'm like, okay. And when I clicked on it, the first thing that popped up was Colorado. The next one that was there was New York. Another one for the next three were New Jersey. And I'm like, what? This is a website dedicated to the state. Why are you showing all these other states? That makes no sense. Because I'm trying to find out. Now I'm going to look at Peru, Mexico, and I'm going to start.
It's pretty much right next to it, man.
Right, I'm going to start digging because I guarantee there's going to be missing girls that match the same MO as this case.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Ooh, Taco John's. Look at that. That you pretty much, you're not even leaving the damn city from Peru to Mexico.
Yeah, in a 40-mile
radius. You're not
radius.
even really leaving it. Look at that. Look at that little ass road right there. Shit, that's just a 5-minute. Trees on the left, trees on the right. You're back in the city.
I have a feeling if they did a 20 to 40-mile radius from there, which would almost extend to Delphi, they would definitely find a bunch of cases that are unsolved and maybe a couple that match the same MO, posed like a doll. And they never solved them. And they just said, well, this is a cold case. We'll never figure it out. But it's because Richard Allen did what he did before he got married, maybe as he got married, traveled, moved with his wife, maybe did a few more back towards Mexico so that it wasn't detected, especially being a Walmart employee, dude. Didn't you mention that he got transferred?
Yeah, he got transferred because they're afraid that he's going to get killed.
Well, no, I meant from his Walmart job. Remember we were talking about Walmart and you said he was transferred from Walmart to a different location, a different Walmart. I think if we know that location, doing a 20 to 40 mile radius, we'll probably find at least 2 cases of unsolved posed dolls type murders.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, this shit. I understand. I mean, with the way that he's shutting the fuck up and the way that the judge had to back out, and they're both concerns for physical harm, it's no wonder why these cops are keeping tight-lipped about this shit, because they don't. I mean, I get it.
I get
it.
Like too.
Man.
Any big case like this, they move them to a Department of Corrections because they have a holding cell that's reserved for like high level criminals, when they're doing transport and transfers. So he's safer there because he's in a room. And that's what happened to Ariel Castro. You remember when he, in quotations, hung himself?
Yeah, I'm from Akron. I was right there, man. Like, Cleveland's a hop skipping away from Akron.
For a fact he wasn't suicidal.
Oh yeah, no. But I was talking about the cops. Like, they're like, I never understood why they were so freaking quiet about everything, but it just keeps telling me now that these people are high up, and these cops are like, we know these fucking important ass people are involved, and we can't fuck up not 1% of fucking shit.
Well, they're
because it's not just about these 2 girls, and it's about a whole this ring, this what I think, what you think, this ring, these important people we discuss.
With Ariel Castro, though, that was a totally different situation. The reason that the police were quiet about everything was because they messed up so much. Like, they did a door-to-door.
Police messed up a lot, bro. It was bad.
They did a door-to-door.
They had the FBI come in there to fix shit.
Even the FBI messed up. They did a door-to-door. They went to Ariel Castro's home, but he wasn't there. You know where he was? At the vigil for one of the girls that were missing. At Burger King. That's where he got the girl from. That's the last girl that he took was from Burger King. She was on her way home. So he offered puppies, but they did a door-to-door, and what they were supposed to do was knock and enter. They wanted to get the freedom of searching, but he just never was home when they were searching because he was part of the party that knew when they were going to his house. They never went back. Not only did they mess up Ariel Castro, but the guy right next to the sausage factory that had all those bodies buried in his yard that they caught while this case was going on. So they missed everything, dude. The FBI and the police, they smelled the rotting corpses and they said, oh, that must be bad sausage. And they let the guy keep killing. So not only did they miss Ariel, who had 3 women kidnapped, held, and, assaulted, but then they have another guy who's murdering people and burying them right in his yard.
Anthony Stowell.
Yeah, and the neighbors are like...
Anthony Stowell. Yeah, that was crazy too, man.
The neighbors said they watched him drag something that looked like a body in the yard, and the cops were like, sure, okay.
Had chicks running out and shit,
Right. So and that's why.
But they were all quiet. But they were all, they were all people that, were.
The cops could not open their mouths because so much was happening, bro.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was. Trust me, I was right there. I saw the news every freaking day. It was like, yeah, man. It was. There's a lot of shit that goes on in Cleveland. Always has, and it's just, it's, but yeah, I've just lived here for about 5 years now. I'm from Akron over there. Those are some crazy cases. The 3 girls that got kidnapped. Because man, I remember like all those years on Fox.
10 years,
News,
bro.
Fucking watching these groups get together on their birthdays, and you'd see their pictures, and it was just like for so long, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're still alive. Holy crap, they were all kidnapped together. Holy crap, like it was nuts. And then that guy that had the interview on Fox 8 News, about finding them and shit, that was fucking crazy, hilarious.
Right. But the worst part was Ariel Castro he was at all the vigils. He was at all the celebrations. He was holding the mothers, letting them cry.
Yeah, just like fucking Richard, man.
So when we start thinking about all those different cases, like the murderer that was in tandem while he had those 3 women, you think about the logic in their thought patterns. You can see the difference. You have a murderer who's quiet, but he's, getting all these girls and bringing them there and killing them. Ariel, he has them captive in a house where his daughter and her boyfriend are downstairs in the kitchen while he's blasting music. And they're like, why is it so loud? What's going on upstairs? I just heard thumping. He's like, it's nothing. You guys got to go, though. Those mindsets. Yeah. And then you look at Richard Allen, you look at Keegan Kline, Logan, the 20 men that are caught. Look at the differences, the total differences of all of those people. I'm only categorizing them because it's not that I want to be right that he was a lone person who infiltrated a perfect fall group, but it's really, really different. He doesn't have the mentality. He has a family, he has been in public. He's gone on vacations. You don't do that when you're Keegan Kline. You go to Vegas and you come home, waste all your money. Then you do your thing online.
Take a look at this picture. It's
oh, sorry. I tried to pause it. Right?
Oh, wait, who's this?
Oh, I was just gonna put up a video of what we're talking about if people don't know that.
Oh, play it.
Stuff we're talking about, just to kind of give them a background on it and stuff. Because who knows? I mean, I don't know if other. Hell, I've asked people here if they knew about Delphi, and they're like, "What?" So you never know,
dude. I asked somebody
says
about
it all.
Watts, and they didn't know. I'm like, you
Yeah,
don't know
it's
who
crazy.
Chris Watts. Yeah, they were like, I don't know who Chris Watts is. And then when I showed them the case, they're like, that's insane. How did I never hear about this? And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Get out from under your rock, though.
Right? Maybe because they're not on YouTube. Or weren't.
Yeah,
or something.
they're not true crimers. I mean, if you're not a true crimer, you don't know about every case happening. But Chris Watts was such a huge case. It's just shocking.
It was, man. It was. And then all the... That's what got me into, like, the YouTube watching the... I started off with Armchair Detective, watching him. And then it kind of branched off to here. And really, I was watching CDT, and I've been watching her for, oh my God, probably
I can't even tell you.
18 or 19.
I can't even tell you the first case that got me into this. I just know that it was before, I think it was just as I was getting to Philadelphia. I think I was in Vermont, so it had to be over 12 years ago, almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
But it was a local case, and it turned out to be a family member, and she was being held captive or something. And I remember I was like, I need to know about this shit, especially if I'm not living back in my like little burg of New York.
I've always just been fascinated with it since I was little. Always I've never really been into like the CSIs and shit like that. I'd rather watch like Forensic Files and shit like that, like real stuff. That's what I was always into. So I mean, I've always been into it, but I just never really like started watching other people's streams and stuff about the stuff until a few years ago. It was pretty interesting stuff. So much to talk about, but it's like, I don't know, it just seems like it's just happening more and more and more and more and more and more, or if I'm just exposed to more and more and more and more. I don't know which it is.
I think it's because the internet keeps getting faster and better, and now people are all using the internet. So before, like in the 80s and 90s, if I wanted to tell you about it, I'd have to know you and write a letter to you and send you newspaper clippings. But now I post it on my Facebook, and suddenly 300 people are seeing it, and they're reposting it everywhere. So it's much faster and more efficient.
Do you got a Facebook group and stuff? Like, what do you do for...
Oh, I sent you all my links.
Like, I see you post pictures and stuff. Yeah, I know. I got a... because I put them in a notepad file.
Yeah, definitely. You'll see, I just post stuff randomly. It's not like like right now, since I'm trying to make the video, but new stuff keeps coming out, I have to stop making my Dior Kunz video so I can make a quick video for something else, which doesn't turn out to be quick because of all the editing. But I post them to everything. So if I post something like, let's say tonight I get off and I put you up and I'm like, hey, make sure you join this channel. I'm going to hit every single platform all at once, so you'll see notifications everywhere.
Yeah, thanks.
But this is kind of fun, man. Just me and you being in here, because sooner or later you're going to start having like 100, 200 people, 300 people, and it's going to be like, hey, you guys should do a tandem show again.
It's just more shit to talk about. You know what I mean? If there's more messages, more people, there's just more shit to talk about. I like everybody's stuff where it's like, 1 or 2 topics, this and that. I'm just kind of like, and to me, it don't even have to be about crime either, because I enjoy everything. I just want to chit chat, have just build relationships, have peace and positivity, and just enjoy the beauty of life and conversation and mental mind fucks, and just
once I start doing lives, that's how much
together different ideas. What's up?
You're gonna be shocked, man. When I start doing my lives, you're gonna be like, hold on. So now he's talking about Bigfoot. Now he's talking about the Loch Ness Monster.
Hey, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I love the crime stuff, but I want to just do whatever. So I'm not even. That's why it's just EvilleCJ, because I'm not really. It's just gonna be whatever, man.
All right, I have to look it up because now you just. Now that you said that, I'm gonna be like,
what,
okay,
Bigfoot?
watch this video
Ghost
tonight and
stories.
tell me what you think.
Yeah, ghost stories, man. Like, I used to go ghost hunt. You know, I'd throw on a backpack, get my camcorder, my camera. 3 a.m, dead time. I'd go to these haunted areas, man. Like, I loved doing all that stuff. I still would. It's just, the economy sucks.
Yep. And not only that, there's so much disease out there now, it's ridiculous. And I'm not saying that as a COVID plug. I'm just saying it's not safe, man. Like the bubonic plague. I don't know if you've ever been, did you get the vaccine for the bubonic plague?
I have no idea, bro.
Yeah, so not many people know this, but the bubonic plague actually still exists. It's just nobody really knows. There was a case in 2010 of a little girl that came down with it and an old man that came down with it, right? And they had no idea, what was wrong with the girl. So the woman who was the doctor goes online and she's like, with her other doctor friends, she's like, yo, I can't figure this shit out. And they're like, well, what is it? And she starts giving the diagnosis. And this doctor from India is like, oh, she's got the bubonic plague. And everybody starts laughing. And he goes, I'm serious with the bubonic plague. Sure enough, she goes in, does some tests and went, oh my God, she does have it. And they cured her. The old man ended up losing his fingers and they didn't know how they caught it. So when they finally they said, okay, tell us the story step by step. And what happened was the girl and the parents went camping and they saw a dead squirrel that was half eaten. And she's like, oh no, the poor squirrel. And they're like, don't touch it, it's got disease. So they walked by it, went to the lake, and when everybody was swimming, she went back, put her jacket down on the ground, knelt down and prayed for the squirrel. Well, the fleas from the squirrel is what carries the bubonic plague. It jumped on her jacket, and when she went into bed, the jacket and the fleas were with her, and they jumped on her, bit her, and she got infected. The old man, he lived off-grid in a house. It was more like a cabin, and his family were going to see him, and when they went to visit him, he was feeling sick, so they rushed him to the hospital. And the doctors asked him, well, what did you do? And he said, well, my cat caught a big rat, and choked to death on it. So I had to bury the cat, and I had to pull the rat out of his mouth. Then they went, wait a minute, you said a rat? And he's like, yeah. So then they checked him for the bubonic plague. He lost a couple fingers, the tips, but they realized he had the bubonic plague and that he wasn't vaccinated for it. So they had to administer the treatment. Crazy shit, right?
Yeah. And a lot of shit's coming back that, I mean, hell, what is the polio or something is back now after being gone for how long?
Yeah,
Polio's
but
back, I think. Something.
It never was gone though.
Geez.
So if you look up polio, you're going to find one thing that's going to really anger you, because that's why they stopped giving the vaccines. They changed the name, the professional name of polio, to something else. And then they said, oh, you don't need the vaccine anymore. We cured it. They didn't really cure it. They changed the name of it so that it wasn't detected. But people in the Middle East still had it. So what happened was, now that we have all these people traveling, they're catching it. And the doctors are like, no, we cured it. But they didn't. You didn't cure it. You had a vaccine for it. But all these third world countries and second world countries, they still have it. So anybody that goes there that doesn't have the vaccine will catch it, contract it, and come back.
Pretty much a natural immunity here, but abroad, not
oh no,
so
they
much.
just cured it in America, dude. They just didn't cure it everywhere else. So when they stopped vaccinating for it, people started catching it again. And they were like, it's a new strain. But it wasn't a new strain. It was the same strain. It's just we can no longer vaccinate for it.
Yeah.
The only reason I know so much about that stuff when I was in Philly, I started writing a zombie comic, and I wanted it to be as realistic as possible. So I had all my doctor friends get every virus that could potentially infect people. They got me disease, viruses, parasites, and amoebas. So I learned everything, like Naegleria fowleri. I learned all of them so that I could make the perfect zombie apocalypse situation. And then suddenly, Naegleria fowleri it infected a young girl at a water park and a young boy in a ditch, which is not possible according to the CDC. However, after that occurred, the CDC changed it to all water. So if you're taking a shower and water gets up your nose, you have a chance of getting the amoeba now, which means it was weaponized.
You can't trust water no more either, man. Like water supplies from cities.
Well, Naegleria fowleri is an amoeba, and if you ever went to hot springs anywhere in the world, there's always those signs that put the nose plugs on because there's an amoeba in the water. Well, you put the nose plugs on because Naegleria fowleri can only infect you through your nasal cavity. What it does is it goes in your navel cavity, travels to your brain, and starts melting it slowly.
Yeah, that's what.
If you're not treated within 24 to 48 hours, you die. But it was only in hot springs. Suddenly, at a water park in Florida, a young girl contracts it, and a young boy in South Dakota or North Dakota in a ditch contracts it, which means somebody had to alter the state of Naegleria fowleri so that it could be in any body of water with chlorine, bleach, a ditch from rainwater. No longer needs to be in a hot spring. But the whole point of Naegleria fowleri was it can only survive in hot spring water. Now it can survive anywhere. And that's magically done in 10 years? That sort of evolution takes at least 500,000 to 1 million years.
Yeah, it ain't overnight. In scientific terms, it ain't overnight. It's just like freaking COVID, that shit was manufactured.
Oh, dude, 100%.
It's the shit. It's disgusting.
Dude, before COVID really hit here, I was telling my bosses, I work for the New York State of Health. So I went into work and I remember seeing all this stuff about China, the death toll rising. Yeah. And I started researching it and I went, oh my gosh, there is a very dangerous virus out there. And remember what they said originally, it's from them eating bats. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
The wet market.
Right. So I
got sick before it even came out, and I knew what the hell it was because I was watching the same shit that you were, man. And it was the worst flu I ever had, and that's what I told the doctors. And when I went and got tested, they said, you have a respiratory and stomach virus. I'm like, they're like, you didn't test positive for the flu. And I'm like, this is the worst flu I've ever freaking had. I couldn't even move for a week. And this was back in middle of December. And then what's crazy is the whole time while I'm working with people that are getting it, I'm literally working next to people that are getting it because we couldn't be 6 feet apart to do our job. But we were quote essential, which we were because we were the ones making the stuff for the medical people. But I tested negative every freaking time and everybody else was tested positive. I think I built up the antibodies before it even was known because it didn't come out until January or February, right?
Yep.
Is when they came out and said
March.
That COVID
It was March that they first announced it.
March.
Yep, I remember because I was telling my bosses, I said, hey, the September and October R naught. So just to clarify, in case anybody listens to this and they want to know what it is. So what an R naught is, it's R to the 0 power, but it's RNAUGHT when it's spelled out. So it's R naught. The R naught is a calculation of infectious disease. And that's what the CDC and the World Health Organization uses. So the way that you calculate that is you take the amount of people that are infected a week later, how many other people are infected. So you divide them into it. So an R naught is only the number 1. That's how you have to look at it. So R naught of -1, meaning, just as it is, less than 1, it's like the common cold. An R naught of 1 is like Ebola. So it's transferred from person to person. Now, the way that they do that is, let's say 2 people in one town come down with it, they go back and there's still either 2 people or 1 person that have contracted it. That's an R naught of less than 1. They go to the next town, and if 10 people have it, and then there's 20 people infected with direct contact, that's an R naught of equal to 1. The R naught of greater than 1 is infectious disease like bubonic plague, measles, and stuff like that, swine flu, H1N1, H1N9. So all of those are greater than 1. My R naught was only 0.019 off from what the CDC released in March. So mine was like 2.29. Theirs was like 2.09 or something like that, or 19. So I was like almost on point. And I'm trying to tell my bosses, and I have it all posted on Facebook. I was like, nobody wants to listen to me, but here's how you calculate the R naught. And again, the only reason I know this is because of the zombie apocalypse thing. So just to clarify, because of a fake comic I was going to create, I learned all of this shit. But that's how you know if it's manufactured, because something like COVID or swine flu or H1N1 or H1N9, which nobody knew existed, but it was in Japan and an old man had it. He died, and then his daughter caught it after he died, which means it was still existent. She lived with him and took care of him nonstop for months, and then he died. She ended up contracting it and dying. But nobody knows it exists, because if they knew...
How much longer after him did she die?
She got it... Well, she contracted it like within a month, but then it blurred out, and the only thing that I read was she passed away. So that was like a month and a half to 2 months later, which means it evolved. But if people knew H1N1 existed, they would know that, you know, H1N9 was another creation, because it can't evolve that fast. Same with the swine flu. Remember when it first came out, it was in Mexico, and they stopped all flights, but the USA demanded they release a flight that landed in JFK, and then everybody on that flight in pairs went to different regions of the world, which spread the swine flu. Then when a 9-month-old baby died, they were like, okay, we found the place. We didn't go to Mexico, but it was a farm off in the middle of nowhere. It was an infected pig. And we have the cure. So they managed to come up with a cure within 2 months without even finding ground zero. That just blows your mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a scientific tangent, but...
No, you're good, man. And you never ended up making this comment? That's right, buddy. Actually, here, I'm going to put this up and then pause it real quick, because I got to find out. All right. There
go for it.
I just got to find out here.
That first number up is 69, followed by the number 53. Tonight, we're going to meet Laura Medlin, who won $2 million playing Powerball. Congratulations, Laura. Now, for the rest of those numbers, we've got 45.
It's anything, buddy. Even Powerball numbers.
56.
Come on.
Rounding it out tonight with 28. Your Powerball number tonight, good luck everyone, is 20, and your Power Play multiplier is 3.
There was suspense there.
All right.
I heard you mention that in your live, bro, and I meant to buy a ticket, and I never did.
$4, man. $4. You got to get... This is what my mom said, because I never play it. I was like, Mom, what's the best way to get the odds? She said, get the ticket and then get the player option and doubler option or something like that. I'd have to go back to my text. But there's 2 extra things that are $1 a piece that just take it all the way to the max. I didn't know that. The first time I bought a ticket this year, I just bought a regular ticket, and here my mom's like, no, you got to get the extra stuff too. It's only $2 more. Right.
Dude, make a tutorial. Did I ever remember I mentioned that I lived in Vermont for a short time?
Yeah.
So the girl that I was dating, her best friend Kathy, her mom won the lotto. For 30 years, she played the same numbers over and over and over and over, and she finally hit just as I moved to Vermont. And I was like, no way. Like, I couldn't believe that her mom won. She only won like $3 million, right? So Kathy's boyfriend, who is from my area, and I remember hearing of him, when she told me his name, I'm like, whoa, that guy's bad news. I know that guy. And she's like, shut up. You're just mad because my mom won the lotto and I get to spend the money. And I'm like, no. And then my girl told me, she's like, yeah, this guy keeps playing her back and forth. And now he moved here. Then he gets her pregnant. And I'm like, uh-oh. And then all of the money's gone. $3 million gone in less than a year, I think it was.
Holy shit.
He bought motorcycles, houses, and he had free reign because she's going to be a grandmother. She's so happy. So he said, don't let the investors take the money because they're going to steal it. Just keep it in your bank. And all he did was take the card and start spending it everywhere. And as soon as all the money was gone, he took off.
Oh, yeah, of course. Wow.
He stole the engagement ring. He stole the engagement ring, which was I think it was something like $200,000. Yeah, he took them, man. Let me tell you.
He's probably
but always invest. I worked for a bank. I know this, an e-bank. It was the Cohen brothers, richest woman in the Northeast. Always invest in mutual funds. Just make sure that you have a secure portfolio.
I wish I would have played the stock market. That shit's too crazy nowadays.
I don't know, man. I have a 401k. I let the mutual funds just balance themselves out and keep accruing. That's all I do.
Yeah. I remember before I was working at it was a Target or some shit. And this dude's like, yeah, I'm taking my whole life savings, man. I'm gonna invest it in this company called Pfizer. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, they're gonna make pills that make you get hard. And I'm just like, all these years, man. I'm like, man. I thought he was crazy. He dumped $2,000. That's all he had. Was not even. He's like $1,950 or some shit. It was right under. But he's like, yeah, I'm dumping it all. Man, you're crazy.
Yeah, it's a good game if you get lucky.
But jeez, I can't imagine what that $2,000 is worth right now.
I'm unlucky, dude. Honestly, if I invested in something and put everything in, you'd be laughing at me because the next day it would bottom out and I'd lose everything.
Yeah, that's why I don't even go to the casino, man. Once in a while, I'll take a 20 in and do some slots or something. And after that, shit, if I get $100 back in 10 minutes, I'm walking back out the door. I'm like, hey.
I think the most I ever won at any casino, because I don't like to gamble, was about $12.
Yeah. Nah, I'll just take a 20 in once in a while. Hit the slot button a few times. It's only $20. What is that? A couple pieces or something.
Right. I'm just unlucky, dude.
I am too at this damn Powerball. I played it 2 times and I didn't get one fucking number. Who knows? I don't even know if somebody won. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I appreciate you hopping in. It was good shit earlier on Brittany's channel, man. It was a good stream.
Oh, homie, I'm having so much fun talking on your stream.
I appreciate it, man.
I really hope that we start getting a ton of people and everybody starts talking about us as a duo. That'll just be hysterical.
Yeah, shit just takes time. I know it. I'm just not that. I don't have the. I think tonight was the first night I actually put out a post on Facebook or something about having one. It's just with the social media stuff. I'm just not. I just like to chill back and fucking chat, basically. So.
Well,
it's
dude,
whatever.
Seriously, join all of my socials. Make socials that are equivalent to EvilleCJ, and I'll start whenever I start posting stuff. It'll go all over your shit too.
I got a Twitter. It's all EvilleCJ, man. Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. What else is there? Instagram.
Oh, I forgot my Discord. Damn it! I gotta put that on my list.
Yeah, I got Discord. It's all EvilleCJ. I made sure that I had everything named the same, and I believe they got all the same picture too, so everybody can kind of like, they're just not trying to figure out is this a silhouette?
Dude, I got an idea. If you want to do this, like your next live, let me know in advance. But get like a couple topics that you definitely are interested in talking about, and we'll focus on those topics. And and also send it to me too. I don't want to be caught off guard and look stupid. You'll be like, "Hey Scott, you ever play the violin?" I'll be like, "No." "Oh well, here's how you play," and I'll be like, "Great, thanks, EvilleCJ. You're just evil." But we can actually do that, dude. Have like 2 or 3 topics, and boom, we'll just go into those topics straight through.
Well, I plan on streaming, if not every night, at least every other. Nothing. I like tonight. I had a couple things, but I just know that you only need a couple things, and bam, it's fucking 2 hours before you know it.
You ever play Hitman 3?
Nah.
Oh, dude, it's kind of cool. You should check it out, and then we might have a stream conversation about a game that people will be like, "Hey, that's an old game, but it sounds pretty cool."
Well, I'd like to promote Warface, man, because that's a badass game that not very many people play, but it's maybe what I'll do is because I'm new to this YouTube StreamYard stuff. I had an idea today. I was like, man, why don't I stream on my Twitch playing Warface and then use my StreamYard to broadcast me playing Warface on YouTube? So I don't know. It was something I kind of wanted to try to see if it worked out good or not.
Is that for PS4 too?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, it's Warface. It's like not very many people know about it, but you get the Call of Duty feel, but it's not tied down. I don't know, man. It's just a different. It's more of a game that anybody can just kind of hop in and freaking enjoy, instead of you having to buy a DLC to get a badass weapon to be able to have some kind of competition, against other people. This is a game that's more.
I'm downloading it right now, dude.
Anybody,
I'm gonna play it a little bit. I'm gonna download it right now. The thumbnail they have is pretty killer.
Yeah, and you can be in a Discord chat on Xbox now, so if we get together on Discord, we can be in a party on that shit too. I don't know if Discord will broadcast on my stream for the party, because I do let my parties be broadcasted as well, but it'd be worth a shot to try it out and see if it does work.
Quick question, is this strictly a network game where you have to play with, like, it says 2 to 32 players, or can you do like a 2-player the fuck's it called? Campaign?
Yeah, you can here, let me see here. There's so many game modes on it. Let me
Dude, if we could do a 2-player campaign, dude, that would be kind of cool to stream.
There is a co-op. There's a co-op, and they have different. They have there's so much to it. There's so many game modes on it. I know they have versus co-op, solo, and I believe under the co-op it's up to 5, and the co-op missions they have separate ones. They got ones where you do U5, and they kind of they lead up in a way, which it's hard to explain. Yeah, once you check it out, man, just go to the co-op part and check those out. But then besides the co-op, they got game modes like plant the bomb, defuse the bomb. I don't know, with you being a PS player, I'm sure you remember SOCOM, right?
No.
SOCOM? No? Okay, you never got into SOCOM? That was a lot of 8 versus 8, capture the flag, control points, plant the bomb, defuse the bomb, all sorts of those game modes.
Yeah, we had that.
And that plant the bomb and defuse was the shit.
Yeah, we had some of that in Destiny where you had to go and, capture the flag or dismantle the bombs and shit like that.
Yeah, and those are like some of the best game modes, man. But it gives you that Call of Duty feel too. But it's just a different style. It's yeah, man. You'll have to let me know what you think about it when you check it out. And then
I haven't rebooted I haven't rebooted my system in so long. It's doing an update.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And what's cool about it is the more you play, it's not like the other games where you got to buy a battle pass. I mean, you can buy the battle pass, but you don't have to. You can just play the game and it naturally lets you pick. There's like 3 items that let you get XP towards to unlock to have better weapons, better armor, stuff like that, just from playing naturally without having to pay.
Nice.
And you get to kind of pick, so it gives you 3 slots and you just pick, well, you know what, I want to go after this suppressor. And then after you unlock the suppressor, well, I kind of want to get that body armor now. So then you can go back and pick that one. You can only unlock 1 at a time, but it gives you 3 options. So you have even options to try and pick whatever you want. Yeah, man. I'll figure out what my stuff is on there, and then however we can link up, and then yeah, we'll try it out, man. See if the Discord will broadcast on my Twitch, and then I can I'm gonna test out how the Twitch even works on the StreamYard shit. It's just an idea of mine, but I kind of want to throw some gaming up there.
Well, I'm gonna try this out probably tomorrow.
Yeah, just hit me up, let me know, and I'll let you know about a stream. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do one tomorrow night, but I'll know probably by early afternoon, and that'll be plenty of time to kind of give you a heads up on whatever topics or something like that.
Definitely, and you have my links in your email, but I might send you another one because another email with Discord attached to it.
Okay.
Because I already made up my own server for allegedly.
Okay. Yeah, I did too. It's I know it's on my Twitch. EvilleCJ number 2590, I think. Is what it is. Yeah, send me the email, man, and we'll link up on that shit, and then
hey, dear lover, how's it going, man? Or
do something. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
All right, homie. I'm gonna drop off the thing. I'm gonna keep downloading this, and I'm probably gonna go to sleep because that wine has gotten to me.
I bet, man. I was like, hell, when you first joined, I was like, man, I wondered if that wine was hitting you, man, because you started cracking that baby open when that stream started, and that was a while ago.
Well, dude, I had to drink 11 bottles since Halloween. So, what's today? The 4th, 5th? I've been doing pretty good. I haven't drank in so long, and then suddenly I'm just like, oh, crack open this wine since I accidentally ordered 11 bottles.
Yeah, I heard that. Hell yeah. Oh, nothing. Going good? I'm glad it's going good, buddy. We can have to spend a second.
All right, guys. I'm going to hop off. I will check you later, EvilleCJ.
All right, bro. Have a good night, man.
You too, bro. Bye.
And later, buddy. Thanks for joining, dear lover. Just go ahead and rewind it. And damn, you got to wake up already. Yeah, I hear that, man. I got to head to bed myself. Peace and positivity.